Greetings all, Shane Bruce, Resto Mod Daisy. Today we've got an interesting presentation for you. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we put a video up, but it's been very, very busy here at the Resto Mod Development Facility. But this is unique, so I wanted to share that with the viewership. Regular client has procured and sent to me a really nice 1938 Red Ryder. You'll notice the wood is in excellent shape. Even the label is still intact. It's amazing. It's the lariat leather, or the lariat lever with the Daisy Bullseye logo. Look at that. Most of the paint is still on there. It's amazing. When we take a look at the roll stamp up here, we can see the number 1938 Red Ryder carbine, and it's got a registration number of L306028. So those of you who are adept at deciphering registration numbers will be able to figure out what year this gun was actually made. You'll notice it's got an interesting mixture of stuff. It still sports the slotted head screws with the little washers underneath them in terms of the trigger bolt, the lever bolt, and the stock bolt, but the top stock screw is a Phillips. It's got the adjustable for elevation rear sight. Paint it's only got a few bad spots. The paint is really clean. Still sporting its original steel barrel band, and the shroud, you can see some freckling here and there where evil rust has worked its way under the paint and is lurking beneath the cover of the paint, but rust it still is. And it's a shot tube. So, an excellent example of a Red Ryder. Great vintage, good mechanicals, and what we're going to do is we're going to translate this into, probably something along the lines this Slim Jim equipped Red Ryder without the flip peep, but small stocks, slender forend, and we will fire blue that receiver. Now, one reason I do fire bluing versus paint is readily apparent here. On the 1938 Red Ryder, the paint is good where the paint's good, but where the paint's bad, it doesn't look so hot. This is a Daisy 111 receiver that I just fire blued the other day, going out to another customer. And it's a good comparison. You get a dark blue color, you don't get the blisters. Now the imperfections in the steel do show up, and there is some color play in the process, but I don't think that detracts from anything. And the people that buy my guns don't seem to think so either. Now, it's a 2-for-1 deal in that he also wants this new production Daisy buck similarly equipped to the Red Ryder.
You're good.
To the Red Ryder. So what we'll do with this is we're going to replace the factory buttstock and put a 4-stock on it. But first, let's get it out of the box. And here I wanted to share something with you guys. I know that getting a Daisy is an exciting thing, but you're going to need something to keep it in. And believe it or not, this little $17.94 gun, if somebody bought one today and stashed it in the closet and waited 50 years but kept the box, would be worth, $18, $19. So you might want to hang on to your box. And to hang on to your box, you want to take it apart right. You'll notice that it's a tab box. So there's a tape tab here, it has a piece of tape over it. There's a tab here, has a piece of tape over it. Every place there's a tab on this box, when it leaves the factory, there's a piece of tape. So get a knife and cut the tape. Don't just horse it out of there, because you'll rip the tabs. So let's pull the little guy out, and we'll see what we're looking at. The buck is an unusual little gun. Well, not really unusual. It's a Daisy. But it shares a lot of common components with its Red Ryder larger brother. It shares the same power plant, it has the same plunger assembly, it has the same barrel and retainer assembly. One place it does differ is that on the buck and many other small frame Daisies of earlier vintages, the spring block also serves as a rear sight. So not only does it hold the mainspring in position in the compression chamber, but it also has a slot cut in it. And it's a very tall rear sight, but it serves as a rear sight. Now when you lay these things up against each other, you'll notice that the receiver section on a 111 or the Red Ryder, where this from this little bump to the back of the receiver is the same size, but the barrel is shorter. So in many respects, Daisy 105 buck is not a 105 buck. It is a Red Ryder SBR, short-barreled rifle. But because it's a toy, because it's a BB gun, because it's a toy, there's no registration paperwork. You'll also notice that the buttstock is much shorter. So our client in this particular case wants the buttstock replaced with a Slim Jim style buttstock, roughly the same size as this Red Ryder. And we're going to fabricate a method of attaching a forearm, because he wants a long, skinny forearm going all the way up to the loading port. We will also do an internal upgrade. We'll pull the original mainspring, replace that with the Cobalt 327 Super Spring. We'll pull the original air tube and replace it with a 764-inch overbore air tube, and we will probably not put new seals in it, because hey, this is a new gun. Seals ought to be working just fine in it. We are not going to do anything with the integrated barrel, interior barrel, and abutment washer assembly, because this is a modern gun, so it's got the it doesn't have an abutment washer and a separate abutment seal. It's a combined integrated unit. So we're not going to do anything about barrel length. We're not going to convert anything to a bottle cap design, because it just really isn't plausible with the new production guns. It does have a plastic trigger. It does have the anti-bear claw ratcheting system, where you hear the 7 clicks to actually arm the trigger. And then you have to take it off safe, and then you can pull the trigger and fire the gun. Not so with the original 1938, because it's just a straight metal trigger, no anti-bear trap, no pleasing or annoying ratcheting sounds. So this is a 2-for-1 deal. We're going to take $105 and we're going to transition it. It will still say $105 on the receiver, but it will in fact be a Red Ryder SBR, unmarked, untraceable. The things we do at Resto-Mod. Well, kids, that's all we've got for you today. This is Shane Bruce with Resto-Mod Daisy, signing off.